think we're recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well today, wherever you are on the earth plane. And today I have some more amazing guests on my show. I feel so grateful that I've had all these beautiful, high vibrational light workers and healers that have been joining me on my YouTube channel lately. And it's just amazing, the people that I've been connecting with and the people that I've been able to share with all of you to help you on your journey. And today I have two more beautiful, angelic, amazing beings on my show. And I'm so excited to have them here. So today I have with me Pierre Garreaud and Janice Johnson, and they are twin flames. In fact, when I first looked at them, I could tell immediately that they're twin flames, which is such a rare thing because in other videos, I've talked about the fact that not everybody on earth has their twin flame here. There's very, very few people who actually do. But in this case, I would say Pierre and Janice have definitely found that, which is amazing. But I met them because Pierre had contacted me for a session. And when I looked at their website and I saw the two of them, I felt like I was really connected to them from before. Like I immediately knew them, like I saw them. They were so familiar to me. It's like, oh my gosh, I know these beings. I know them. I just felt like I knew them. And so we got to know each other, and I just feel honored and blessed to know these people. So let me tell you a little bit about Pierre and then about Janice. So Pierre Guerrero is a musician, sound healer, sound catcher, and trained shaman. He is a Christian in the Gnostic ways and follower of Yogananda and mysticism, and a Kriya Yoga initiate. He has studied the ways of the shaman and has been following the path of curanderismo, natives healing modalities from his homeland Peru since 1992. Initiated by Master Ayahuasca Agustin Rivas in the 90s, Pierre learned from him sound healing and discovered during an ayahuasca ceremony the important power of sound as a primordial tool for aiding and assisting ceremonies, healing, and the awakening process. Later on, at the turn of the century, Pierre was initiated into the Andean cosmology by Paco Inca priest Don Martin Pinedo. In October 2003, Destiny sought him in a powerful ceremony at the top of Arequipa, I think, Arequipa, yeah, was gifted to Pierre by the Condor Don Martin. His first Hatton Carpe was about to change his life forever. Prior to this amazing event in July 2003, Pierre received the Kriya Yoga initiation from Paramhansa Yogananda's disciples. The year 2003 marks a big shift in his life. Being a number 5 year, 2003 was a year of dramatic change, shift, and initiations for Pierre, resulting in the opening and awakening of the Kundalini serpent. For 7 years, he was mentored by the renowned twin shamans and toured extensively with them, sharing profound healing modalities from the Moche culture of Peru. Through years of meditation, shamanic practices, working as a sound healer, and by being divinely guided through spiritual downloads, Pierre has emerged to transmit activations by using the breath of life and divine sound. Now, a little bit about Janice. Janice is from St. Ignace in New Brunswick, Canada. I don't know if I pronounce it. It could be St. Ignace.
Yeah, that's it. That's
St.
it.
Ignace. Yeah. Since she was a child, Janice felt compelled to help people. At the age of 6, she naturally became the caretaker of her young cousin who was born with spina bifida. She was very attentive to him and showered him with motherly love, which played a major role in her path and her career that she took in later years. At the young age, Janice had the talent for feeling the energy from people who could not express their needs. She continued to develop that gift to the point where today she intuitively knows how to help all of her clients. Over the years, Janice took many workshops and training in the field of body, mind, and soul, which allowed her to assemble a very unique healing toolbox. She is mostly guided by her intuition as she reads the client's energy field, and then she follows by using the healing modality that is needed. Because of her very high developed intuition, she often gets inner messages for the person whom she is treating. And as she shares this info, great healing is achieved. Her basic training as a human services counselor has helped her greatly in working with the VON program, Healthy Baby and Me, she continued in that direction and developed prenatal sessions, which she calls hypno-intuitive. That particular work brought her to a career as a doula and a practitioner in the field of hypnobirthing, which she helps couples conceive and experience a serene birthing experience. Janice is continuously developing her skills. She is training in Reiki, healing touch, consulting hypnotist, metamorphic massage and practitioner, hypnofertility, and aroma touch trainer from doTERRA essential oils. In the recent trips to Machu Picchu, Peru, where she had the privilege of working with shamans, she was given the opportunity to deepen and widen her knowledge in that field. These encounters allowed her to add very unique techniques to her toolbox, namely the shamanic practices to remove negative energies accumulated in the body. These ancestral clearing techniques have been used for centuries in the Andes to help remove negative energy that clings to cells and makes it difficult for people to grow and thrive. Often physical pain, disease, and emotional pain vanish after the negative energies are released. Janice offers an array of services, all aiming to help people relax, listen to their inner voice, and take charge of their lives, enabling them to leave past behind and shift into a more harmonious life. Her many years as a doula has helped her design a very unique program for birthing the inner child. She currently works at her healing center in Inzen Wellness with her husband, Pierre. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so grateful to have you here. And wow, what a bio for you guys. Just amazing, like your background, your training, everything that you've been doing to heal people on this planet. Just beautiful. I am so grateful for you guys. So I have a lot of questions, and hopefully we can get through this in, in less than an hour. We're going to try, because Janice has to be somewhere. So we're going to try to do this as quickly as we can. So the first thing I want to ask is Pierre in particular. I mean, Janice, you may be able to answer this as well, but the way of the shaman is not something that everybody can do or should be doing or want to do. It's a very, very different kind of lifestyle. It's a different way of healing. It's very unique. And, only certain people are called on this planet to be shaman. I went through shamanic training with the Navajo Indian, a Native American, back many years ago, and did like level 1 shamanic training. And so I use a little bit of that in my practice, but I don't consider myself a shaman per se, because I didn't go through all the initiations and all the processes like you have. So big question is, can you share your story, Pierre, of how you became a shaman? Like what, because you sent me all this amazing information about that, but I want you to tell the people about your story, about how you got into all of this line of work, and how you what called you to do this? What drove you?
Yes. And first of all, I really thank you for having us in your show. It's so great to connect with you. I mean, the vibration, the feeling is there. And as you said, we feel as well, Janice and I had a past life at the time of Jesus Christ, and that's how we connected. So it's a very magical moment. So definitely, we've been there. We've been there washing feet and helping many people heal at that time, right? We remember that. So when it comes to shamanism, as I told you a little bit of my story, my first contact was with a wolf that came to me while I was living in Westwood. And this wolf started howling. But when there's spirit calling, it's different, because you can hear something happening, and you say, oh, it's a dog, it's a neighbor's dog or whatever. No, this talks to a different part of yourself, which is not your left side of the brain, your ego, but it's something in you that says something is calling, that is spiritual. And within that call, I knew I had to go to the top of the mountain. There's a mountain up there in Westwood, kind of like when you go down to Santa Monica on Pacific Palisades. Mm-hmm. I think it's Sunset Boulevard towards Pacific Palisades. And there's this mountain up there, and there's a college, and it's a St. Mary's College. So I found my way to get there. I'll make the story short, but I knew I had to go there. And at that time, I had been pretty basically frustrated and upset with the kind of work that I was doing, and I needed a change. And I said, I'm going to go to the top of the mountain. I'm going to be on top of the mountain. I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate. And I'm going to work with the elements. Something got into my head that I had to do that. And I didn't know. So I climbed to the top of the mountain, sat on the top of the mountain. I saw it was the highest place possible. And I started breathing. I created myself a triangle. So it was not a pyramid per se with the 4 angles. It was more triangular. So my vortex was in front of me, and every element that I would work with the clouds, and inhale the energy, inhale the prana from the clouds, and set it to what I wanted to create. I was living in Westwood. I had an apartment, 460 Kelton, and I was paying $1,000 a month. And I had just made my cards, and I was hitting the music business, and I have sent my cards to different producers. So I said, I need to, keep my address. Somehow I want to be in the same address. So I said, it has to be in Kelton, and I cannot pay more. I was paying $1,000. This is 1989, 1990. And I said, I have to pay no more than $300 a month. It's going to be a house. It's going to have 2 rooms, and we're going to help an old lady. Maybe I can cook for her. That's what I was going in my head. So anyhow, I sat in that triangle, and I started pulling all the energies. I worked with the sun, with the water, with everything. And boom, worked for the whole entire day. The next day, I slept the entire day because I was so spent. And after 2 days, what happened is I manifested a house in that street, 2301 Kelton, same street.
Wow.
There was a lady, okay, that couldn't afford getting more money because she will lose her Medicare.
Wow.
So the rent was $200 for 2 years in Rancho Park, which is like, no more than 8 kilometers from Bel Air. It's a really nice area. He had the 2 bedrooms and everything that I asked for. So after that, I was like, wow, what is this? So from there, one thing led to another. And then, like a friend will call me on the phone and say, listen, I have an ayahuasquero, a teacher of ayahuasca, a shaman from ayahuasca in New York City. He said, listen, we did meditation. We did a session yesterday, and Agustin, this is the shaman that is here with us. He said, there's a friend of yours in Los Angeles that I need to connect with. And he said, well, I have many friends. So he went to the list and said, no, call this guy Pierre. That's the one. So he called me. He said, hey, Agustin is here. I can put him in a plane. You can have some ayahuasca experience. What is that stuff? I said, I heard about it in the 1990s. Huh?
Wow.
1992, and I said, send him over. So the shaman came over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. On the 3rd year, started with the first year, I started with a group of 10 people. And then from there, everybody was calling me. There was no cell phones. Everything was organized via, phone call, landline. Hey, I heard that you have this Peruvian shaman. So in the 3rd year, we had 500 people that came to see Don Agustin.
Wow.
And of course, there were 50 people per group during 2 weeks. I mean, we were seeing 50 people every night. And Don Agustin started calling me and saying, hey, Pierre, help me, move the feathers. So I started moving feathers. And then at the end, he will have me blow the tobacco on the crown to close the chakras, and so that's how I started. So I started learning his way of how he was using sound, how he used sound, and how he used to heal. So it worked with people in a circle, everybody laying down, and just start rattling and drumming. So that's how I work, literally. That's what I still do. From he never told me I'm gonna teach you. I just connected to symbiotically to his energy and the style of work, and I just started going. After it was not immediately, but later on. So that's, in a nutshell, that's part of the story. There's more to the story, but I also would like Janice to get some questions if you want, because I know I can talk forever, and she might have some good things to say.
Janice, do you do you have what I guess what I'd like to know from Janice is, Janice, the two of you, so the two of you are not only just soulmates, but you are twin flames. And the thing is that's just it's so rare for anybody to get their twin flame. And you are from New Brunswick, and Pierre is from Peru originally, and then he's lived in LA, and I think you told me Massachusetts or somewhere. You've been all over the country.
Boston and New Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire. He's been all over the world. And so how did the two of you meet? Because you guys are so amazing. You both have this amazing light worker background and everything. And somehow you guys came together from so far apart in the planet. So how did you guys meet? Janice, can you share that with us?
Yes.
I want to know.
So 10 years ago in May, I was invited to a workshop, a sound healing workshop from a Peruvian shaman. So I said, well, I'm going to sign up. And I went. And when I walked into the room, Pierre was doing the clearing of the room with Palo Santo. And I had all my stuff, pillows and all of that. My arms were full, so I put that down and I introduced myself. And when my eyes and his eyes locked in, I thought, oh my God, this is gonna flip my pancake, like my world, right? So, but it wasn't like a romantic connection right away.
It was very, very spiritual, very high vibration.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like very, very sacred, very, very sacred.
Wow.
I knew him. Yeah. I could see myself through his eyes. And I want to say that he saw himself through my eyes.
Well, let me think that, no?
So he opened sacred space, and I'm, having this like inner battle in my head, or confusion, or trying to figure out like, who's this man in front of us that's teaching us? And we did our first sound healing with him. Like so I was his student. And so I laid down on the floor, and the minute he started with the drum, it's like poof, like it's like everything opened up. And
wow,
it's my kundalini. I didn't know that's what it was at that time, but now I know what it is. But it started to like rise, and my hips, and it would just like go right to the top, and I saw Jesus as clear as I'm seeing you.
Wow.
And to the point where I was like, am I dying? Like, what is this? So I opened my eyes, and what was on top of my third eye was a condor feather. So I couldn't really like grasp all of it, because it was like I was in the spinning cycle. I was in that trance. But it felt, for the first time in my earthly life, I felt fulfilled.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
And I felt peace in my heart.
Wow, so beautiful.
So that was the peace that he needed to bring into my world.
I love you.
And then I love you too. And then it's kind of nice to go back to that story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And from in my part, there were like 20 people in the room, and it was a 17 by 12, I think. We were
Uh-huh.
like teens, and I see these beautiful women with this high vibration. Well, there's a lot of people that are like shaking up the ugliest entities out. They're choking and I and she's like, oh, she said, I said, man, I have to protect this woman. So, I went straight to where she was, and luckily she was in the center.
Of
So I didn't
course.
move away from her. I had to be right there with her. I didn't want anything to come to her, right? So from that beginning, I was a protector, and I was doing all of that. So it was definitely there was a very strong connection. And in these kind of workshops, I usually, when there was an initiation, and when I did the initiation, you know, there were a lot of men. There were men that were like struggling. There was a lot of stuff coming out of these guys. So when we're done with the workshop, the weekend workshop, uh, I felt that they needed nurturing.
Oh.
So from all the people that was here, I say, "Can you help me? You look like you have a lot of nurturing." And she started nurturing and Dula and everybody. She was rocking everybody like a little baby.
Wow.
Like to me, it was like, oh my God, look at that. I mean, this woman is just unbelievable. So that's how we connected. Of course, I wanted to be rocking on her arms while the other men were there. I said, wait, I need my turn too. I did all this work this week, and I did a little bit of some nurturing too. So that's how we connected.
And it was interesting because there was a part in that weekend where there was this man that was really struggling, and it kind of like I was scared of that because to me it was all new. So and I'm thinking, I hope he doesn't ask me to help him. But of course, what do you think he does?
She
He's
already
like,
knew it. She read my mind.
he's like this, and
Yep.
I'm like, oh,
You, come here.
oh, help me, creator. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And that's when I was like, just do what you do best and love on that person. And right away, the minute that you and I both worked on that man, he was pink like a newborn.
Yep.
Wow.
His face,
Yep.
everything. So for me,
the entity went out.
Wow.
So for me, when I saw that, I immediately connected the dots with being a birth doula and having assisted over 250 births and seeing those newborns come, and they're all nice, pink, and rosy, and seeing this man, I automatically knew that the next part of my journey was going to be to help. Well, first of all, I needed to birth myself, or I was in the process of birthing myself, connecting with that divine love and that divine joy, and it was just so amazing. It's not something that you can buy at Walmart.
Nope.
So
Amazon.
or on Amazon now. So by doing that, it was really a revelation to me that we all have an inner child. That inner child needs to come alive.
Absolutely.
And how can we help that being birth themselves? And it's through love, nurturing, offering them a safe haven,
The most
like
important.
Yes.
a safe and comfort. So I always said, God granted me long arms, long fingers, and it's for me to be able to hold small or big babies.
Oh.
And I still, I sometimes I will tell people, get on your side, I'm gonna rock you. So and then I hold them like babies, and I just rock them, and it brings them in such a beautiful bliss.
Yeah, she connects amazingly with Mother Mary, and the nurturing that comes to Janice, unbelievable. But when in that event, in that workshop, I realized, how amazingly nurturing Janice was. But then she goes through after we meet and we go to Peru and everything, she gets all that shamanic. So besides having this beautiful nurturing that she has in healing, because she has amazing healing capacities, then suddenly I'm introducing her jaguar medicine, right? So Janice, I said, okay, here you go. And we're talking about the breath in the carpais, which is, giving this breath of life and blowing that in the Costco, which is your second chakra area.
Right.
And then Janice, suddenly she becomes, beyond a jaguar, she's a dragon now. She got that initiation and she took it on and she made it herself. She does with that what she wants.
Wow.
When she works with that power of the jaguar, that Inca power, when she uses it, she can blow anything out of anybody that is there interfering with that person. So I really see right now Janice is, and we can say that, right? The beautiful nurturing feminine, divine feminine, and then embodiment of that strong yang energy, which is your masculine puma.
Right.
And fully embody that masculine energy to a point that she's so balanced in the work that she does. Now
Wow.
I am her student. I learn from her.
Wow. Speaking of divine masculine and feminine, that's the one thing I noticed about both of you guys is you, Pierre, totally embody that divine masculine big time, and Janice totally the divine feminine. And the one thing I saw in you was that you're carrying a fractal of Mother Mary in your heart space. So, and all of us have, everybody who follows Christ, we all have a fractal of Christ on our heart space, but you, Janice, have a fractal of Mother Mary so that you can employ that divine nurturing that mama bear, loving, nurturing, healing, energy that you bring forth to all of your clients and everybody you work with. You carry that in you. And so, you have that. And so what's interesting about people who carry those fractals in them is that other shaman, when they look at you, they can see it. Like they can see it, they can look at you and they see you as that, whoever that being is, you have that, like that glow or that energy or something like that, which is really, really kind of cool. So so you guys have been leading tours to Machu Picchu for a while. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's on my bucket list. It's something I need to heal myself on a med bed first so that I can go up high in elevation, because I have issues with elevation because it's at 12,000 feet or something like that.
Yeah, but and more. Yeah.
But it's like my dream bucket list trip is to go to Machu Picchu and connect with that ancient Incan energy. And so first of all, two questions. Number one, please share about all of your tours that you guys do, to Machu Picchu, so people, can learn about that and join if they'd like to in the future when the sea, is over with, the plague is over with. And then also, I'm just curious if you guys think that you were actually there in a past lifetime too, because you're so connected to that Incan shamanic energy that I almost wonder if the two of you haven't been there before. So can you talk about both those things?
Do you have a feeling that you've been there before in Peru?
So, well, maybe I can share that my first trip to Peru, it was 9 years ago. So so I registered with Pierre. We were just starting out our romantic journey, I guess.
Yes. And what year was that?
2012.
2012. This group.
So, you know, like the numbers, the 2012 and the 2021, and I say like this is the same kind of energy as 2012. Like it was, we were in the salad spinner. And so I'm all excited. I had a big year. I had I was going through. I had a melanoma and a divorce, and so I was like, that was like my focus point was I'm going to Peru in April, and Pierre and I are gonna have this like most amazing trip that we're gonna, you know, like our souls are just gonna merge. And so it's a week before the planned trip, and Pierre is already in Peru, and he also was having lung issues. His lung collapsed twice.
Oh no.
So he's in Peru, and he has he goes to the doctor, and they tell him he's got a collapse.
If you go to Cusco, you will die. Oh, really? Yeah. We don't recommend that you go to Cusco.
Oh no.
So he calls me and he says, I have good news and bad news. And I'm like, okay. So he says, what do you want first? I can't even remember what I said that I wanted to know first, but he says, the good news was that I was gonna go to Cusco and lead a group all by myself. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, the bad news is I can't go because of my lung. My lung is too fragile. And if I go up to the high altitude, and he said I need a surgery. So I'm left with the good news, I have to coordinate a group in a country that I don't speak the language and that I have never been.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that was an initiation fully on her own. So she had to come into fully independent. Luckily, she was bringing a group from Canada. So it was mostly people from Canada, and Janice knew all the people. So in that sense, that was covered. And I have an amazing shaman from Peru, who is the daughter of Don Martin Pinedo el Condor, and her name is Vilma. Doña Vilma now, Doña Vilma, you know, she's an amazing shaman.
Yeah.
So I said, Janice, you go with Doña Vilma, she's going to lead everything, and David is going to take us everywhere. He knows the drill. So, you know, she was in good hands, but regardless, I mean, it's a brand new country, brand new people. She doesn't know where she's going, and, you know, and I just say, help me, I cannot do it. You're going to have to do it.
Sounds like trial by fire.
So here I am. And then leaving. So the morning we left for the mountains is the morning that Pierre had his surgery. Yeah. So I had to leave him behind. And I didn't know if I was ever going to see him again alive because of how we had left one another in our last past life. So I had to rely on faith and put my big girl panties on and take this group and fake it till you make it kind of thing, because I didn't want to be there. I wanted to stay in Lima with him.
Wow.
But I knew I needed to go, and I knew I would get kicked in the butt, and I did. So in the sense that Pierre, you know, like Pierre got his surgery, he was in the hospital, and I started my process. So here I am holding space for all these women in an environment where I don't know the language, I don't know the people, but thankfully the connection I had with Doña Vilma was strong, and we both knew that we were in this together. And everything was going well, like everybody was doing their little process, and I was thinking, oh, I got this. Like this is great. So the morning that we were leaving for Machu Picchu, I get up at 4 in the morning, and that day I had received a healing from Dona Vilma's dad, the Condor man, the medicine man, and he said, you're gonna have to you have the spirit of the hummingbird. And I said, oh, okay. And he said, you will have an opportunity on this trip to honor the spirit of the hummingbird. So, there's a part of me that's like, woo, like, wow, that ego self, right? So, and then he says, and I said, so how do I honor the hummingbird? And then there was like this stare at me, like for like 5 seconds that felt like 5 minutes. And he said, you'll know. And in the back of my mind, I thought, I paid all this money to come here to get the clarity and, all of that. And that's the answer I get. You'll know.
Right.
You're supposed to teach me. You're supposed to tell me, right? But now I know I needed to own my healing. I needed to own my spirit. So I get up at 4 and I get out of the bed, and on the floor, there is a dead hummingbird.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So then my first thought is, I didn't honor the hummingbird, I killed it,
Oh no.
So I go into this like panic, and I'm crying, and everybody's hearing that I'm crying. So obviously everybody rushes to the door to see if I'm okay, and they thought that I had received a phone call. That's how bad I was crying.
Wow.
Something had happened to Pierre. So I remember Dona Vilma rubbing my back and saying, in our culture, when an animal dies, it dies for you to have their spirit. So then I'm crying because of my self-worth. Like, am I really worthy of receiving that spirit of the hummingbird? So I'm like, well, how am I gonna honor this hummingbird? And she said, do you have a box? Well, Pierre had bought me a bottle of perfume, and it was in like a little box that the hummingbird fit perfectly. So here I am on the train for Machu Picchu with a dead hummingbird in my backpack.
Wow.
And all I can think, and this is my ego self that was talking. If she said I needed to bury it in Machu Picchu. So I'm thinking the first piece of earth that I'm seeing, it's going in. Like, that's it. Like, I'm done with this stuff. Like, I don't want to have a dead bird in my backpack.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I hear, as loud as we're talking right now, bring the hummingbird to your heart. So I'm like, oh, I lost my last marble. I'm hearing voices and everything, right? So I get the box out and I put it here. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling in my hands this rush, and everything is vibrating, and the box is vibrating, and it's like, and I'm like, oh my goodness, is this alive in there? Like, maybe it was just asleep and it wasn't dead. That's how powerful the wings felt in the box. So my neighbor, Belt, I said, Belt, can you hold this and tell me what you feel? She says, oh, I feel a vibration. I'm like, can you look if it's alive? Then I was scared it had come alive in the box. And she said, and Doña Vilma was sitting way behind the train, and she saw in my field that I was probably freaking out. So she comes to me and she says, what you're feeling right now is a memory from past life that's coming to you. You're having a download right now, and it's through the hummingbird that you're gonna get the download. So then I have this like huge connection in my hands. I kept saying to Belle, like, I can scratch the train driver's ears, I'm sure. That's how long my fingers felt.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to Machu Picchu, and I didn't want to let go of that bird. So that bird stayed in my backpack for 2 days before I found the right place.
Wow.
Through that was a lot of letting go for myself, and a lot of honoring myself and honoring Pierre, and letting go of things that we were going through at that time.
Wow.
With our children and our exes and all of that. So anyways, so it happened that Doña Vilma and myself ended up being by ourselves in Huayna Picchu, which is the mountain that when you look at Machu Picchu, it's the tall mountain that you see.
Mm-hmm.
So the temple of the moon is there.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Her and I ended up being just her and I going down to the temple of the moon. While we were going there, and I can assure you that I have never seen that much flowers. Every time I will go back, I wasn't able to see all those flowers, but that day it's like flowers were coming out of the jungle, and I would pick it up. And I never studied flower medicine before at that time, and I knew exactly what that plant was for, because she's a medicine woman. And I would say, is this for the bladder? Is this for the genital parts of the woman? Is this for fertility? Is this? And I didn't know any of that, and she was able to confirm.
Wow, so supernatural.
I kept.
She connected. She went back.
I kept picking the flowers and hiding them here.
Oh, oh my
and
gosh.
by the time I got to the temple of the moon, I had 3 boobs, because I had a flower bouquet right there, and because the guards, that's what Doña Vilma kept saying, you cannot pick the flowers. So I would hide them there because I knew I needed it for my ceremony. So when we got to the temple of the moon, I did my ceremony. I dug a hole, and at that time I had those fake nails, the gel nails, and it was a French manicure.
Yeah.
And here I am digging in the earth, and I'm thinking, oh my God, the prima donna here digging digging out a hole in the temple of the moon. So I did my thing, and then I was guided to do a healing on Doña Vilma herself, because she was having problems with fertility.
Oh.
So a little detail I forgot to tell you, in my turmoil, she's like, spirits are guiding me that you're going to help me have a baby. And I'm thinking,
oh, wow.
No, you didn't hear right, because who am I? A little girl from St. Ignace, New Brunswick, Canada, that's going to heal a shaman in Peru. Like, no, that's not going to happen. And I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess. Like... So, but
in the hospital.
Yes, yes. My poor husband was still in the hospital. So, anyways, we the hummingbird is now in the grounds, and Pierre had told me, he said, the minute that you're gonna let go of that hummingbird, it's gonna come alive again. And I chuckled because I thought, well, sir, well, the hummingbird came alive, but it came alive through me because I don't know what I did with Vilma in the Temple of the Moon, but whatever healing that was brought upon, um, she became pregnant, I think 2 months after.
Wow, that's so awesome.
This thing, yes. And then
wow.
we're like celebrating, I did my thing. I had such a big relief, and then we stopped for a break because Pierre was calling on the cell phone. So the phone was ringing, and all of a sudden I hear from behind, and it swirled around me and landed on the branch right in front of me. And it's the same kind of hummingbird.
Wow.
And I'm on the phone with Pierre, and I'm like, there's a hummingbird alive. So it's when that happened, I knew that Pierre would be okay.
Wow.
And yes, so to answer your question, a long story to answer your question, but
beautiful story.
That story is near and dear to my heart, and I know that was a pivotal point for me to believe that, when something or someone dies, there's a bigger impact,
bigger purpose. There's a bigger purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I am blown away. I am so blown away.
What is amazing is a whole transformation for Janice, that happened in that trip. I wasn't there, so somehow she needed to go through that alone. Not like I teaching her. I've been the teacher in prior lives with her, and this time I'm not supposed to be the teacher.
Oh wow!
I'm not. So I'm just a protector. I check that she's okay, and I get her clean, and that's good. That's enough. But she, when she went and did that, I mean, there was trust. She had to trust with everything. And there was a big surrender, right? She had to surrender to the experience. I was in the hospital, and I knowing if I had a recovery and then had the surgery, and 2 days later, I had to go back to surgery in emergency because whatever surgery they did didn't work.
Oh no.
So, and she's out there alone and handling a group, and she cannot even fly back. So it was a pretty intense, I would say, moment in initiation, right? So it's kind of like a shamanic initiation. Full trust, allow the archetypal energies of Peru, which is a hummingbird, to embrace you, to give you what you need to do. And she picked up a big piece, in Machu Picchu, a big piece of confidence. She had to heal the shaman, right? She healed the shaman. And she helped her with her getting pregnant and all that. She did a whole, healing session with her.
That's amazing to me. Very supernatural. Very supernatural.
Yeah. So luckily, since that moment, we've been returning with Janice every year. We've been going back to Peru twice, spending almost like 2 months to 3 months sometimes, with 2 groups every time we go. We go in April and November, and bring 1 or 2 groups every time we go, and do different experiences. So we work with, and kind of like giving you a little bit of the Peruvian tour because it's part of the question. We work with the Guerreros. We work with, of course, with our friends, other shamans in the area that are Guerrero and not Guerrero. Here and there we work with Don Martin. We work with Vilma as well. And then we also work with people in the rainforest. Maestro Juan Flores. This is part of his center whatever you see behind us is a little video that
Just
I filmed.
like that.
A little video that I filmed of Mayantuyacu,
Mhm.
which is the boiling river. So there's a crate. It's kind of like from inside the earth. This just water goes straight and then bends down as a river, and it's boiling
Wow.
water. It's 115 degrees water.
Wow.
So you cannot get in the water unless it rains. So in that place is extremely magical, very safe to do ayahuasca, especially nowadays that people just look at these beautiful websites and sign up for something they really don't know where they're going. And there's some really damaging experiences for people that I have attested and helped get them back after these experiences. So this is Mayantuyacu, Maestro Juan Flores, and then we also have these amazing grandmothers that took us in for 7 years, so we love them dearly. Doña Isabel and Doña Linda, and they work with medicine from the Moche, which is a culture prior to the Incas. Everybody knows the Incas because the stones stay there forever, right? But the Moches, they did everything with adobe. So actually, the Moche Chavin culture is, to me, is more important than the Incas. It's amazing. It's like the pyramids are kind of like Egyptian pyramids. The way that they bury their own Egyptian. Egypt is in Peru. So anyhow, we bring groups to Peru and we have them experience all different sorts of things. And we have the shamans. We work with the shamans and we work with the breath of life. So people go through different initiations, giving them the Puma energy, the archetypal energies that we work with in Peru, and people really transform. Their Kundalini is activated, and then there's this transformation that happens after Peru that is really amazing. Yeah.
Wow. That is, see, I want to be part of that so bad. I've always wanted to go do that. And it's like, and I can't, I have not been able to go up high in elevation. I tried to trip to Colorado with my family. I went to Lake Tahoe a couple of times, and every time I go up above like 5,000 feet or higher, I just can't breathe. And I don't know if it's because I had asthma a good portion of my life or what it is, but I can't breathe. It's awful. So, and people will say, oh, if you stay there for a week, then you'll be able to breathe. That's not true, because a week later, I'm still having the same problem. So I'm hoping for a med bed so that I can go up there.
Yeah. And I think that if you were to come with us, we have to be in Lima for a little bit, and we can do healing with you. I know we're far away from you right now.
Yeah.
We can help you with that. And there might be something that needs to click, and it feels like a past life thing that needs to just get it out, and finally your system is gonna kind of like be okay.
I never had this problem before I had children. I used to go up really high in elevation. I went up 14,000 feet, no problem, several times. No problem at all. And then I had children, it changed my whole body. It changed everything. So yeah. Having babies, you're a doula, Janice, so you know all about this.
Well, maybe you need a doula's touch.
Yeah, you need a doula touch. That's what I was saying. I was thinking about that if we were going to Peru with you.
Yeah, but I think it's something to do with having babies, because I used to go up in elevation all the time. In fact, my mother and father used to go up in the mountains a lot when I was growing up. They loved going in the mountains, and I spent a lot of time growing up in high mountains, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 feet, 14,000 feet. But they'd go up Pikes Peak all the time, which is in Colorado Springs. It's 14,000 feet. They go up. My husband and I had been up Haleakala volcano, which is like 14,000 feet or something, and in Maui many times. In fact, I hiked all the way into the volcano, and I didn't have any breathing problems whatsoever. And then I went with my kids in recent years to the same place, and I couldn't even get out of the car. I was dizzy and passing out and faint. I mean, it was terrible, total nightmare. And I'm going, what happened? What shifted? So I maybe I need some shamanic healing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
There's a loyalty with your children.
There's
loyalty there with your children, and it's a past life. Somehow you have lost a child in a mountain. There's something there. That's what I'm feeling. I don't know if you're saying, Janice, or...
Well, I don't know. We're not going to do a healing on the live.
No, I know we're not going to do that. But you know what? I'm going to sign up with you guys and get one because, you know, I'm a healer. I heal. In fact, I teach energy healing workshops. But what people need to understand that are watching this video is all of the healers and light workers and spiritual teachers, we need to receive what we give. You have to have balance. You have to be able to receive what you give. And you can't do it all for yourself. You can't totally, you know, I work on myself all the time and I do a fair amount of good, you know, healing myself, but there's a point where you have to let your ego go and you have to accept and receive what you give. And that's about letting your ego, putting it aside, you know, and being able to just receive. And it's important too, to try out different modalities and find out about different things. That's so important. You know, it's a good way also to become a better healer when we're able to receive these healings from different other healers, because then like, if you receive a healing from me, you learn more about what I do. And then when I receive a healing from you, I'm learning more about what you do. So it's an interactive educational experience for both of us, but it's also, we're being able to put our ego aside and we're able to receive what we give. So that's really, really important. So, yeah. So, all right. So I have some more questions here. So, let's see. I wrote all these questions down because you had so much information about you guys. It's just amazing. So can you share, because you guys have so much stuff that the two of you do for people, can you kind of share about the different modalities that you both offer, like all of the different things that you offer and you teach and you help people with, because there's so much.
Yeah, we are very lucky that in my case, and I think in Janice's case too, that we have made some really amazing people, great healers. And we've learned a lot of shamanic tools, but it goes hand by hand, you know, with Christianity, with the miracles of Jesus Christ, believing that you can move mountains, and you know, it complements each other. So on one side, on one hand, you see Jesus Christ with all the miracles, right? And people healing and he touching people. And then we go learning all these different healing modalities, or we go through different initiations and suddenly we are doing things. And basically what I found is that mostly all the modalities have to do with awakening, right? So people go for healing, but it's really part of the awakening process and journey of that person. So, you know, I've been working on this modality, which is nothing new, but I just call it ascending the sacred spiral, because that's the process, right? We have to go through our chakra system and we have to unblock and release information that is in our chakras, which are karma from past life, karma from this present life, the traumas and karmas from this life, and then the karma of the ancestors. All this information is lodged in our energy centers. So we need to release that, and the only way that we release that is by activating that inner fire. When the inner fire is activated, it starts burning and releasing all that. Once that is released, then the flow of energy through your spine, your energy centers, flow perfectly to the point that you start activating more and more your intuition and your psychic abilities and everything that happens with that, right? So when we talk about modalities, I feel that everything is there, you know, because as a healer, you have to go through your own personal healing process. So for me, my own personal healing process was pray, meditate, connect with Christ, right? Have that very deep connection. Yogananda brought a different Jesus Christ to me, which was a more mystical and esoterical Christ, where he was talking about, when I look at Yogananda's books about Jesus Christ, which is the second coming of Christ, he talks from his Hindu place or understanding of all the esoterical teachings of Jesus. And they say, okay, now I get it. So you have all that. Is the awakening process. You can awake via meditation and start working with all these chakras and clearing. With Kriya Yoga, you can clear all these different chakras and start burning all these past lives and ancestral. You can do that with just the breath. But again, there's a shamanic part, right? So there you go through shamanism. Okay, there's ayahuasca. You can take ayahuasca, you can open those centers, release those memories, release those blockages, and it start getting that Kundalini energy to rise, which will be, in the Mayans, will be Quetzalcoatl, the winged snake. In the Eastern countries will be the dragon, that is the snake with wings. So all of that is similar for many cultures and traditions. So awakening is what is needed. So activating that. So whatever we've learned and we do is as receivers of the breath of life, and having received different activations in Peru with the breath, for us is the breath. For me is, I activate through breath by sending that chi energy, the prana. My breath has my imprint. Whatever I've done in my life, whatever I have worked all my life, my own work of working my shadow, bringing in the fire, transforming and shifting, awakening all my system, right? I feel that when I do that breath of life, I'm helping activate. Janice does the same thing. So it's a male activation, female activation, my male and female here, her male and female there. So it's a breath of life, So for me, is going back to Christ, You say, well, he just put saliva in his fingers and dirt. He started rubbing the eye of this woman, right? And I can see, he sees saliva, right? And then the shamans in Peru, let me get my bottle here. Yeah, when they are clearing
I know that.
I'm gonna blow that way, right? When they're clearing you, they say, they are getting into their really strong shamanic energy, and they just blow you and clear you in a second. So they send that breath with intention in the water. You say, oh man, saliva, I don't like that. It's beyond that, right? Because there's that power and intention to clear, to help the person. It does a clearing, and in the activation, it can be a very soft, but it's breath of life.
Wow.
So for me, Christ, he has apostles that don't get him the Thursday night before the Last Supper. Peter gets the sword and cuts the ear and says, okay, what's the difference between Peter and Judas? They're both violent. They both want to do this stuff, right? And you say, well, they didn't understand Jesus.
No.
So, but after the crucifixion, resurrection, Jesus teaches the apostles, the disciples, and he teaches something new and different that is not in the Bible, and somehow those books and those initiations are not there, but it has to do, Jesus baptized in spirit, he baptized in fire. So to me, he had to send that breath, his breath of life, to activate and get the apostles to the level that they got. So, whatever we do is pretty much aligned with Christ, but with that shamanic power. So it's power transformed through the heart, right? You cannot use power if you don't use it through the heart. So it has to be of service and in a compassionate way. So that's what we do.
Wow. So you offer healing. So do you do distance work with people then, or do they have to do a workshop in person? Because I know you offer workshops and programs that you teach, but can you do distance?
Yeah, we do this.
Okay.
Yeah, we do this type of thing as well.
Okay, that's really good to know, because my followers on YouTube are all over the world. I've got people in Israel, South America, a lot in Australia, just all over the world, as well as my clients too. I work with people all over the world as well. So I love it when I have people on the show here who can also, the people who are watching you, they can call you and contact you and work with you no matter where they are. And in the energy, people need to understand that we are all connected to the source field of I am that I am, or that God source energy of creator. And because we are all connected to that, when I work with people on the other side of the world, or you work with people on the other side of the world, the energy is all the same. It's all connected. It doesn't separate out. It doesn't divide out ever. It's still always connected, no matter where we are as a human consciousness. Our consciousness is all, collaborating, which leads me to ask you the next question, which is about this great awakening that's happening. We are all co-creating what is happening here on Earth now. So did the shaman, a lot of the indigenous people predicted these times, the Hopi Indians in America predicted the 144,000 warriors of the rainbow coming back, which are here now today in bodies. There's the 144. And there's a lot of indigenous cultures that predicted these times. Did the Peruvians, did the Incas way back when in Machu Picchu, did they predict these times that are happening now at all? Did they have any?
There's definitely the prophecy of the eagle and the condor flying together.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Spaniards came to Peru in 1532, the Incas knew that they had to hide for 500 years. They were told to hide for 500 years. And these are the Inca priests, the ones that were in charge of doing the carpais and activating the Incas, because the priesthood had this ancient technology to activate the Inca so he could be an enlightened one to rule with, power, but also with heart. Mm-hmm. So the eagle in Condor prophecy speaks about that time that is a return of this new era where the condor from the south and the eagle from the north will fly together. And when that happens, everything will come together. So it's the brain, the northern hemisphere has a more of a mental capacities and qualities. In the south has a lot more of a heart qualities. So when we start coming together, left brain and right brain together, and start working in collaboration, we will shift and we will start creating this new era. I like to call it New Earth. It's like the New Earth that we call it.
That's what I call it.
There's also another prophecy, which is the Pachacuti Prophecy, which is Pachacuti is the name of the 9th Inca, which flipped the earth upside down. So Pacha means earth and Kuti means flip. So, we are in the times of the big Pachacuti. So this is the time of the time where the earth is going to be flipped. Not necessarily the magnetic field or the North Pole and,
consciousness. The consciousness is flipping.
It's a shift in consciousness. So those are the two prophecies from the
Awesome. So speaking of that, there's a lot of fear right now. I just got sent another message from somebody saying that when people get that needle in the arm, which we're not going to say what it is because we don't want to get shut down on YouTube here, or deplatform, because they deplatform everybody who says these words. But that when you get the needle in the arm, somebody sent me a post today saying that your soul will be completely separated out from your body. You'll be completely detached from God forever, and your soul will be completely lost, like forever. And I have a really hard time believing any of this. And there's so much fear. And you and I, the three of us, were having a chat before we came on about the fact that there's fear coming from both sides. Can you kind of can you tell everyone what you were telling me earlier? Because it was beautiful and perfect what you were saying. And I agree 100%.
This is what I think, from one side, people don't want to get the V, right? And some people say you have to get it, right? And the way that the narrative is being manipulated. So when somebody gives you that story, right, it not necessarily is created by somebody that is, you will say, in the good side. It's created by the other side, inserting that in to create more fear. So there's a really amazing use of the media to just create fear. It doesn't matter how they do it and what they do. So they switch and shift things with lies, and then they bring other concepts to get people confused and start thinking, well, this is another thing, and people start, because what is happening is, how can we, the other side, let's say the bad side that is kind of organizing all this stuff, how can we conquer and keep dividing people, right? How can we divide the ones that are divided already and keep dividing them even further with more and more ideas that we insert into this matrix of confusion that we are currently living, right? So all these distractions, the only thing that it does is take away the opportunity for enlightenment. They're just getting in the way when we know, a lot of us that have returned, we know that this is a time for enlightenment. We are here to become enlightened, and the energies are supporting us. So the more we get distracted with all this stuff, we're going to miss that wagon. Enlightenment, ascension is unavoidable. They say that there are people that are invested in not having the earth ascend. Is unavoidable. It's happening, and it's happening right now, and will continue to happen.
Yeah.
Because we're supported by star brothers, star sisters, angels, archangels. They're all invested in this particular moment that we're living. We all have signed for this. 7.8 billion people have signed for this moment. So even if there is a 0.00000000001% invested in destroying, our spirit is bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's time for all of us to have faith and move mountains.
I agree. And the beings who have been causing all the chaos for 12,000 years are such a small group of people. It's just a few people that have been running the show for such a long time. We are so much greater than they are. And we need to rise up and take on our role in the fact that we as a humanity we're so much more powerful and so much greater than that darkness is. The darkness is this little tiny smidgen percent of the population. One of the leaders of that whole thing, which is let's just say the royalty of the UK, who just passed away. Yes, they just announced that he passed away, which I don't believe. I think he was taken out of the picture a while back.
Yeah, I know.
I think that was like it's been like
cloned. I think that their hologram machine already broke. So
they use clones, they use actors, they use holograms for all these people, just like the person who's supposedly running the United States of America is a combination of actors and holograms and all of that kind of thing. So, we're not stupid. We're onto them. We know what they're doing. But the thing is that we need to rise up together, as we cannot do this. I can't do this by myself. You can't do it by yourself. We all have to come together as one humanity to fight this darkness, because it's just so tiny, but people act like little shriveling, like, oh my God, they're going to get it. They're going to nuke us. They're going to do this. And it's like, no. We're so much bigger than that. We're so much larger than that.
Yeah. We have to start thinking that when we pray together and we connect in ceremony and sacredness, we can override everything. So we can move mountains. Jesus says, bigger and greater things you can do than me.
Yes.
Don't you know that you're God's?
Yes.
And we just don't believe it.
Yes.
So there is the need to acknowledge that you are a God. You have to say that. I am God. My Father and I are one. I am God. I am God. And you have to claim it, you have to decree it, and you have to own it. And if you said, I am God, or I am that I am, and you start owning it, you start feeling the goosebumps. Things start changing within your body. So we have to come to that point where no matter what happens in the earth, we know who we are and that we can change it and we can make a difference. There's a lot of people that are being sucked into this fear mongering and coming back. That is, this is a problem. This is the solution, but if you get the solution or you don't get the solution, whatever it is messy. So we have to rise beyond that and project our energy into this. Get that bottle and say, I'm not believing this stuff, Get out of there, we have to come into that power. We have to come into, get into your power, get into your power. You know, I think that there is something that is really needed.
Yeah,
And
you know,
I feel
go ahead.
this is a great opportunity for people to connect with their higher self, their intuition, and discernment.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, whether whatever they decide or whatever they, it needs to come from that intuitive part that we all have,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't always listen to that inner voice, and to for us to make the right decision for us. And you know, because I do get asked, what do you think, like, what do you think? And I'm like, I'm hearing loud and clear, stay neutral into all of this, because the in the neutral in the neutral part is where you're gonna feel it in your gut, and feel what's right, what's wrong, what's true, what's not. It's about discerning all these things. And we all know deep down the truth. It's just we are being bombarded by fear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to take a step back. If it's a step back from social media, if it's a step back from listening to all the news and this and that, and I can't believe, because then we go in the judgment part.
Mm-hmm.
But when we retrieve, we meditate, the creator is going to give you the piece of your puzzle that you need to understand.
Yes.
But people are
Yes.
not spending the time in the right way. They're spending time reading things on social media. Oh, so and so did that, or do all of that. That time you could be spending it doing ceremony and praying,
Connecting
and
with source.
yes,
Yeah.
and raising your frequency. Don't waste your time there, because you're missing the boat here. So as you can see, I have not been involved in any of that, because that's what creators telling me.
Yeah.
You know,
Beautiful.
stay
Beautiful.
away, and I will guide you, and let me lead the way.
That was similar to the post. Pierre, did you see my post I put on, because we're connected on Facebook? I got a channeled message from Yeshua, from Christ, on Easter Sunday. And basically he said that everything that's playing out is like a big theater of actors, and it's just for the sleeping people, you know, to get them to wake up. And that the rest of us who are already awake, we need to stop looking at all of that. We already know what's going on. We already know the horrible things that have happened for 12,000 years on this planet. We all know about it already. So we need to stop revisiting that, because every time we do, it's sucking our heart energy, it's sucking our energy in general. And instead we need to go within, and we need to connect with God every day, and we need to get the answers from source and from Christ and from that consciousness. And we need to just connect there instead of focusing on that other stuff. Focus on your family, focus on, he told me to live my life every day like it's my last, like literally living in joy, like creating joy and creating happiness, and doing things that make you feel good, and really spending time with your family and loving your family, because with all of these crazy things happening, you don't know if your family is going to get taken from you, you know, tomorrow or whatever. So you need to enjoy your family. You need to really, really work on that connection with source, which is what I was told when he appeared in my room years ago and he told me, I want you to teach all my children how to hear me. That's what he said. He said, I want you to teach my children how to hear me. So people need to be refocusing their attention on connecting and getting away from all of that.
Yes.
Really, really important. Really important.
We are at a crucial point right now to really turn within and go within and ask the creator, what is it? You know, the source that we all have. We're all connected to that.
Yes.
But yet we put our attention on what's on the screen. So
And that screen was created to control and divide and separate us and turn us against each other. I mean, the whole Hollywood was created for that reason. It's all a big psyop. I mean, all of it was created to disconnect us from God and get us worshiping all of these celebrities and these sports people and these TV shows and all these things that we do. We get sucked into it. You get dragged into like soap operas. I remember when I was younger, I was addicted to watching soap operas, and some people like those Spanish soap operas, you know, those are really addictive, but you know, all of the soap operas, and people get addicted to this stuff. And that was created that way because that's taking your time away from your family, from yourself, from connecting to God. It's pulling you away more and more and more. All these things that distract you from your purpose of what you came here for are no bueno. They are no good. They're terrible. So we have to get back to the path of righteousness, to the path of focusing on the kingdom of heaven, which is within. That is what Christ taught us. That the kingdom of heaven is in here. It's in my heart space and connecting with him directly. And every time we focus on this stuff, which is, you know, I love the idea of these sacred tours that you do to Machu Picchu because it allows people to get back that connection again. When people go on these sacred tours, which I'm going to be promoting in the future once this whole thing goes away and it blows over, I want to start promoting you guys on my website, anybody who's offering what I call a spiritual tour to somewhere where they can connect to source directly and unplug from all the electronics and get away from everything and really get back to their connection with source, their own personal connection. People who are offering these types of services like you guys offer, this is what I want to see, you know, and promote in my future. This is something I have, you know, in my plans, in the works that I want to do.
We could definitely work together.
So
it'd be great.
Yeah, because I was a travel agent, you know, I got laid off because of the, you know, the plague. And
I have to go.
She has to go. You know, we're actually pretty much done here. So do you have any
I'll wrap it up with you if you want.
Yeah.
I'll wrap it up with you.
Yeah, well, I think we're pretty much, I guess the only last thing I have is do you have any last words of advice for everyone? And then also, how can people connect with you to do healing sessions and seminars and workshops and trips to Machu Picchu? How do they connect with you? And do you have any last words of wisdom that you want to share?
Go out and play. Get your feet in the grounds and just soak up all that energy. Go into the forest, go by the water, and just soak it all up.
Yeah, connect with nature.
Go back to source.
Yeah. Regarding our information, I'll give it to you, but we have a center. Our website is, she's going to be leaving. She has to run.
Bye. Thank you, Janice. Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome.
Thank
Yes,
you.
bye.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Thank you.
So we have our two websites. One is Peru Sacred Tours. So that's www.perusacredtours.com. And that's the website for signing for the different tours. And then the other one here in Canada, we have inzenwellness.com. And that's in like a hotel, the in, I-N-N, in Zen, Z-E-N, wellness.com. And that's probably the best way people can connect with us. The email should be in the website and our phone numbers are there. But I can give my phone number if you want.
No, I wouldn't have you do it on YouTube because I get sometimes 5,000 views and you don't want your phone number anymore.
Okay.
But I'm going to list your websites if people go down below, and I've had people say, oh, I can't find their contact info. If you go into the description and you click on the little down arrow button, it opens up kind of a little box and it has all the information, and that's where Pierre and Janice will be, their info, their contact info. But even though I like to put it there, I always have you guys say where you want to be contacted, because it may be different from all of your contact, like your website. Sometimes people want a specific thing and it's not the same as all of their different social media contacts and all that. It's, you know,
we are in Facebook as well, so people can contact us through Facebook.
Yeah.
Janice or Pierre Garreaud and Janice Johnson, you know.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
have
Well, I
a
will.
lot of,
I will be putting that all up there. And I am. Do you have anything else, like any other words of wisdom as a shaman, from a Peruvian shamanistic standpoint? What are things that people can be doing right now to help them get through all the energy transitions here? Because a lot of people are having what we call ascension symptoms with their body. Their body is having issues, like not sleeping and headaches and heart palpitations and all the crazy
yeah.
things. What can you recommend from a
Well, when
shamanic
it comes to the ascension symptoms, I mean, the ions positives are really huge. So anything ions negative, that means walking on the earth, putting your feet in the water, walking on the beach,
Mm-hmm.
you know, bathing with salts, Epsom salts, things like that
Mm-hmm.
will definitely help you discharge the amount of energy that is there. There's a lot of static energy. There's a lot of interference. There's a lot of broadcast happening, and there's, I think you have done a show also, I think, about EMF waves and
Yes.
5G. So
Yes.
anything that you can wear by to protect yourself from all of that bombardment of electromagnetics, 5G and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. That's really important that we take some action regarding that, because that's pretty strong. Um, the other day I was interviewing someone that came to my show, and she was saying, but the earth feels that it's really wobbly, it's moving and shifting. So it's kind of like the earth, something happened in a positive way, something negative counterattacks, and we're getting all of this. And it's important that to know that that is happening, but not to connect with that energy,
Right.
and keep ourselves grounded,
Mm-hmm.
grounded with the earthing things that we need to do. But as well, we need to connect higher with source, prayer, meditation, whatever people can do to counter it and be positive. I briefly talk about going to the top of the mountain, make your triangle, three-pointed triangle, sit in the middle, and start working with the elements. Call the elements. We resonate with the elements because the elements are inside of us,
Yes.
and create and dream the world, the earth that you want to create. Because it's so important that we don't forget about our dream and think that this is it. I mean, the plague is here, and this is it. We're doomed. There's no new normal. This is the new normal. We have to be going home, hiding, quarantining, coming back, hiding again. So that can happen, but that shouldn't be affecting you. And you have to find your rock inside.
Yeah.
You
Your
have to find
peace.
that very grounding rock inside of you and say, I'm solid. I'm solid. I mean, regardless of whatever happened outside, I'm solid. And that is, some of us have done our shadow work before. So it's easier, right? Because we got hurt, we went like this, we had our traumas, we had this, and then we went and saw that, and then we healed from that. So now you are capable, because of this trauma that is happening, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't hurt that much, right? We kind of like have been prepared for this moment. So what I can say to people is take the opportunity to use this time to work with your shadow self, because the moment that you heal, that's another more light coming through you into the earth, and we start overriding all the darkness that is in the earth, because there's only space for one, or there's either the light bulb is on or it's dark. So once you put your light, the darkness is gone. So that's what we're supposed to be doing here. We are the light,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to hold the light. So you have to create space within you and heal, so you can hold more light. And the more we do this, the more we start embracing, these ascension times. We start embracing the new earth. We start embracing this change. First, don't stop dreaming. Keep dreaming. It's happening. These are great times,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, part of that message that I got on Easter is where Yeshua said that you need to find peace and call upon him to give you his peace. And if you pray and you ask him to give you his peace, and you imagine him standing behind you and either touching your head or putting his hands on your shoulder, and you can visualize this golden peaceful light coming through your body when he's standing behind you. And no matter how scared you are or anxious, like if you're having a panic attack or anything, that will help diffuse it. And he said you will feel the subtle energy of his peace flowing through you. That is what he said. That was his message. And because so many people are lacking peace in their life right now because it's chaos. The whole world is chaos right now. And so that Christ consciousness peace is the most important thing that we can latch onto right now to get us through this time period on the earth. That's what I think.
I think it can get us through, but it also can enlighten us, because we are tapping into our own fears and feeling vulnerable. And only when we let go and fully trust, and we say, Heavenly Father, you go on your knees and say, whatever I'm doing is not going to help, it's not going to work. So, the only thing I can do is just be humble and surrender. And it's in those moments of total vulnerability and surrendering that suddenly, something changes. And when that happens, then I mean, whatever I am fearful about is nothing. There's something bigger than that.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
So I think that we need to change our focus. That's the bottom line. We need to change our focus. What are we doing? Where have we been putting our energy? We need to really revise that and say, okay, I need to focus now somewhere different. Shut all that static and go within, center, and connect. So that's the bottom line, I think.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. So, well, it's getting late. It's 12:39 now. We've been on this it was a long one. It was like an hour and a half, I think. And I was trying to keep it in an hour, but the thing is I should probably have you guys on again, because you're both so wise and you have so much experiences and amazing stories. Like your supernatural stories are just incredible. I love those supernatural stories. So I would love to have you guys both back again to explore some other things. And I would love to also especially talk about ayahuasca ceremonies next time, maybe, because there's a lot of people who ask me questions about it, and I cannot answer their questions because I've not experienced one of those things before. So I don't know the answer, but people ask me all the time, what is ayahuasca? Should I use it? Like, I'll have people contact me, say, should I go do this? And then I'm like, oh, I don't know. Don't ask me that question. So I would love to have you guys talk about it.
When it comes to ayahuasca, a very quick answer is that ayahuasca is a way of life. It's a way of life for the native people in the rainforest of Peru. It is not just one take, and it's not one pill that you take and your life is going to change. Right. You're not going to be depressed again because you took that. There are people that are selling it that way.
Yeah, a lot of people sell it that way.
They are offering ayahuasca outside of Peru and charging over like $10,000.
Lots of money.
It's a great business. But ayahuasca is a way of life. It's a plant medicine way of life for the real people that do this work. So we can talk about that a lot. We can delve into the good part and the bad part of ayahuasca, which I know very clearly.
There is a lot of bad stuff to it that I know about because I've heard stories of people, terrible stories of experiences people have had that have been horrible, like really, really bad experiences because they did the wrong thing. They made the wrong choice.
Well, they went with the wrong, they didn't go with a curandero, they went with a sorcerer.
Yeah, exactly. A dark magician. A lot of dark magicians that are offering ayahuasca these days. So you have to be really careful who you're.
Oh, we can talk for quite a bit of time.
Yeah. So I would love to have you guys back again another time just to like talk about that, talk more about some of the things, that you guys have experienced and seen and felt and, done because you guys have so much, in your background. It's all very interesting and to me and of course to my listeners, people, because everybody's just like me. We're inquiring minds. We want to know, we're trying to learn what is this life that we're experiencing. We want to learn We want to know what makes everything tick, you know, why is this way and why is this that way? You know, we want to know all the answers. So that is, you know, that's why you're a spiritual seeker. If you're a spiritual seeker, you're looking for all the answers, you know, you're looking for the answers. And that's why I say I'm a teacher for spiritual seekers, because it's people like me who they want to know why, you know, what is all the answers. They're not just sitting there doing their little mindless idiot thing where they just go to work every day, punch a clock, and they don't think about anything happening, and they believe the government cares about them and takes care of them and all that kind of thing. And they don't realize that the word government means govern your mind. They have no clue.
Yeah, that's right.
So, so us awakened people, the people who are awake, and I'm not going to use the word woke because those are two different things. The awakened people, we are inquiring minds. We want to know all the answers to everything. We want to know. And so then I have people like you and Janice on the show to provide some of the answers. You know, I have everybody on that has different answers. Everybody comes from a different perspective and a different way of life. And it's exciting, you know, to learn about all these different things. So
there's a lot of stuff. I mean, just thinking about it, you know, there's a lot of stories and things are precious.
Yes.
We'll be happy, you know, to come again. I can keep talking. I mean, you won't stop me.
Yeah. Well, me too. I've been told I talk way too much, so I get in trouble for it. But I was born that way, so it's just who I am. But I am going to let you go and have a wonderful rest of your day. I know you're 3 hours ahead of me, so it's probably like close to dinner time. Your time, I'm guessing it's probably around dinner time or close to it. But have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for joining me. And tell Janice I'm so grateful that she joined me today, and I know she had to get out of here and leave early, but I'm going to ask everyone who's watching to please like this video so it'll be more available to people, because the more likes I get, the more they show it on YouTube, and share it with anybody you know who's interested in shamanism or going to Peru or any of these things that we've talked about today. And I will have Pierre and Janice's information in the description. And also subscribe. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going to have more amazing, beautiful light workers like Janice and Pierre on my show, because I have all kinds of people in the future that are going to be coming on. And I am so grateful for all of you. Thank you for joining here on my channel today. And wherever you are on the planet, have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you for allowing us to come in your show. It's really a pleasure being with you and sharing time. And until we meet again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
And I'm going to stop the recording. Let's